You see, if there is one thing to applaud Ghana for in recent times, it would certainly and undoubtedly be the way they conducted their presidential and parliamentary elections. Yes, the West African nation just showed to the rest of the continent, and I dare say the rest of the world, how to conduct a peaceful and credible elections. Now, by this, they sent a strong message that a peaceful and credible elections is possible on the continent of Africa, as against, the kind of questionable elections that we usually have here, especially in Nigeria. Now, I'm talking about Nigeria because, that's where I'm from. So I'm taking Nigeria as a case study here. So on the 7th of December, Ghanaians went to the polls to elect a new president and, new parliamentary candidates. Yeah. So the race, for the presidential race is more of like a two-horse race, although they have like 15 political parties, but it was more of a two-horse race between the National Democratic Congress Party, the NDC, and the ruling New Patriotic Party. Like I said, it was a two-horse race between these two parties. Now, the NDC, represented by former president and former vice president, I'm talking about Mr. John Dramani Mahama, and the current vice president who represented the NPP, I'm talking about Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. I hope I got that right. So the race was between both of them, and Ghanaians went to the polls. There was no question about who they were going to vote for. A lot of them went there, and like I said, it ended with a resounding victory for Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC, and then it was a loss for, for the NPP candidate. Now, the party, the NDC party, also have the major seats. They have 186 seats, and the NPP has 79 seats. That was at my last count, so I don't know if that has increased. But you see, it's a lesson to learn here that I'm even here to talk about. You see, Ghana, they're a good example, like especially on the continent, on how to conduct peaceful elections. Let's start by the dates of their election. Ghana has a specific date. Every 7th of December, every 4 years, they must have an election. Now, I got to understand that irrespective of what day that falls on, even if it falls on Sunday. Now, Ghanaians, correct me if I'm wrong on the comment section. In the comment section. It helps for consistency, and it helps for better planning, and it helps for, good projections. You see, now let's bring it back to Nigeria. Even the last election we had, the governorship election that was supposed to hold, it was even moved from the day it was, the initial date to another date. So Nigeria is not consistent with dates, and that is a problem. That is a problem. We cannot keep saying, wait for 4 years, and then it's INEC that will announce when we're going to have elections. We should have a particular date, irrespective of what day it falls on. We should have an election. And if you've experienced election in Nigeria, you know that if election is coming, it's like that war coming. They will close everywhere. The markets, the banks, everything will close. Like, you can't even, if you're going out about your normal duties on that day, you can be arrested if you're not going to vote. You can't even if you're driving with your own car, they will stop you to question you. You better have you must have to give them a good example, a good reason as to why you are sin if you're not going to vote. So you can't even move. Like there will be like a kind of curfew from 7 o'clock till, if you're traveling, you can't even, like, you just cannot move. I don't even know how to explain it. You just cannot move. Why? Because you're having an election. That you can't even do anything. Why is this supposed to be so? Election, not war. And from what I gathered in Ghana, it's not so. Normal activity, you can still do whatever you want to do. You just go cast your vote, and that's it. Nigeria, we should learn from that. Have a specific date for the presidential election and the parliamentary elections. Have a specific date for the governorship elections and the House of Assembly elections. Let's have a fixed date, irrespective of what, because it will help people to plan their lives as well. Because we've also seen cases in Nigeria where, because let's say they picked 28th of February for the election, and then you say, okay, let me move, since it's 28th, let me move my wedding to the next Saturday. You find out that INEC will now come, for whatever reason, cancel the election that they've put for 28 and move it to the other dates that people have planned for. So if you have a wedding or other engagement, it will not hold or it will be affected. That is a problem. So having a specific date saves a lot of things. It helps for consistency, planning the election, and people planning their lives too. We're not going to, it's not all elections that we're going to do now. People have their lives to live. But I tell you, that whole day, you can't achieve anything if you're in Nigeria. It's not supposed to be so. So this thing about making it look like there's one war happening, like keep putting the nation on a standstill. Let's look for how we are going to manage that. We can learn that from Ghana. Ghana will not keep shutting down the economy just because they're having an election. Let's also have a particular date so that everybody can plan around that date. Now, the second thing about that we should learn from them is how quick they were able to announce the result of the election. How seamless that is. Now, I don't know whether they do our own beavers thing and whatever, but it was so seamless that even the vice president, that's the current vice president, who is the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, had to come out and concede defeat, even when their own INEC, chairman, the lady, have not even announced result. And he said that by their calculation, it's looking like there is no path to victory for them. So therefore, I concede defeat and congratulate my opponent. Amazing.
Following yesterday's presidential and parliamentary elections, Ghanaians at home and abroad have been sitting on tenterhooks awaiting the outcome of the election. Let me say that the data from our own internal collation of the election results indicate that former President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has won the presidential election decisively. The NDC has also won the parliamentary election, even though we await final collation for a number of seats. However, I believe ultimately that these will not change the overall outcome.
That is like film trick. It has never happened. So that means they've not announced, even when they announce results, that is when our own, more like, quote unquote, fight will start. So that means there is a way Ghana can see their results and know that, okay. And you see, what I mean is, between the agents of both parties, okay, I've seen it. Our agents of ground, they have seen it. There is no pathway. So let us go and give it up. Amazing. Again, I say that. Because if even for us, the results coming out, coming out from the polling unit, some of us are not even believing it. A lot of us are questioning the results. Why? Because the electoral system has not given us any reason to believe them. Our electoral system is flawed. We can't trust our electoral system. So it will be very, very unusual for anybody to come out to say what I have, because we're even thinking that they've cheated you out already. So you won't even want to take that result that you're seeing because you think that something has happened. You see, one thing I also gathered from this very, very commendable thing that the vice president did is that if there is any, because he already saw that there was no path to victory for them. So if there is anything that his supporters want to do, if they want to start any kind of unrest or any kind of violence or anything, if their principal is already saying, no, I have already accepted the defeat, we've lost, and I take it in good faith, and I congratulate my opponent. Now, who are you, supporter, to want to come and fight? Or want to come and scatter things? Or want to come and say, I no go agree. When the person you're supporting had gone ahead of you. So that was very strategic. Like, before there's any breakdown of law and order, let me go out there to calm it. I accept, we've lost, let's keep it moving. Absolutely commendable. Nigerian politicians should learn that. You know, you see, they're not going to go to, the lawyers will not eat. The lawyers will not capitalize on this thing because sometimes the judicial system too is another problem. If you see, if it's in Nigeria, lawsuits will be flying here and there. I'm sure there are some cases from the last elections we did 2 years ago. I'm sure there are some cases still in court where they're challenging election. There is no need to challenge this one because the system is so credible that you will see that you won squarely or you lost woefully. So you don't even have any evidence to even say the electoral body will not even give you any reason for you to doubt their credibility. You get what I mean? So they take it in good faith because you don't even have any reason not to agree. Because by your calculation, which is clear, clean, very transparent, you've seen that you've lost the election. So that's why in Nigeria we contest everything because our electoral system does not give us room to believe them. So anybody who or any candidate who lost an election is trying to contest it because he or she is thinking that something fishy must have happened. It's not supposed to be so. So I think the whole thing stops on the decks of the Electoral Commission. I'm talking about Nigeria. They need to clear up the mess going on there first so that the people can take them seriously. So that when they say this person lost, then we will say yes. It will be very clear. If they say this person won, it's very clear, just like that of Ghana. So Nigeria can learn that from Ghana as well. So the other one is how quick, again, the results were announced. I know that I talked about how, you can see that you've already lost. But you see, it didn't take them how many days? Like the elections were held today, and the following day, they've announced the results. But you see, Nigeria, it will take us up to 4 to 5 days. I don't know what they're counting. Yes, I agree that Nigeria is bigger than Ghana, but incompetence is incompetence. We're not going to whitewash it. It is the way it is. We just need to do more about our electoral process. We need to, a lot of, as in, an overhauling of the electoral system of Nigeria needs to happen. We use beavers. On the day of election, they will say there is no network. They will say they can't, thumb printing is not finding my thumb. Like, so many questions and so many, just a lot of under the chaos. At some point, you'll find out that some part of the country used beavers, some part did not use because it did not work here. Because it was like it just everybody's doing whatever they like and forgetting that they're putting people's future at risk. We need to just get it right. We need to get it right. We can't just sit down and be doing business as usual. Every country has moved forward. Now we will come out and say, there's no Ghana again. But I mean, we can learn that from them. And yes, we can proudly say we learned that from them. We can learn that from them. There's no shame in learning that from them because they seem to be getting it right. You see, another thing they're getting right is the culture of changing political parties after 8 years. Not one person will come and sit down there and turn to an effigy. When you're not doing anything, you will be there. Your political party will mess up for 8 years, and another 8 years, they will vote them in again. Ghana doesn't do that. So the kind of electoral process, the way that they vote, it can be likened to that of America, you know. The highest a political party can go is 8 years. After that, it's like there is no how. There is something that will make them remove that party, and another one must enter. You know, it's been between NDC and NPP, right? So the highest that they've gone is 8 years. Like Nana Akufo-Addo just finished 8 years, and now another political party is entering. And before then, it was an 8 years government between I think that was Atta Mills and this president-elect. He was the vice president of Atta Mills. So when Atta Mills died, John Dramani Mahama took over. Yeah, and you know, did the remaining 4 years. So I think that started since as far back as 1993. I think they're using their constitution of that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But ever since, it's been do your 8 years, do 4 years, and at most do 8 years. You bounce, and then another party enters. You see what that will help for? That will do for the people. It will help political parties not to take the people for granted, because they know that for you to do 8 years and come back again, you have to really work for it. And so far, no party has really worked to earn, let's say, 12 years, not talk of 16 years, like PDP did 16 years, even when they were doing only God knows. Now, you see this current, even when we're having this current economic crisis that is dealing with us badly. I tell you, as bad as things are right now, chances are that we will go to the polls with the way how bad this country is right now. The government in power will win. It's sad, but I'm telling you, Nigeria, as bad as it is, the dollar is in an all-time high. We can't buy fuel anymore. Cost of living is killing the living. I'm telling you, they will go to the polls again, like tomorrow, and they will win. That is how bad our electoral system is. Now, some people are questioning that. Is our vote really counting? Or people are actually going to vote this? Because Nigeria, if there's one thing we vote, we're always voting, it's my tribesperson, it's for my religion, it's for my side, it's for my ethnic group. We don't look at how, like, that if the economy is bad, we're all going to suffer it. If it's good, we're all going to enjoy it. So it's better we put who is there. Better we put the credible person so that it will be beneficial for us all. Excuse me, you get? But even if you will see somebody that is suffering, even in the present government, but because the present government is their person or from their tribe or I'm just using this present government as an example, but it has happened in the previous government, but I'm just using the present government so that it doesn't look like I'm targeting people. But I'm just saying now that you see somebody who will just go and vote somebody who is doing badly or performing poorly, you vote that person just because the person is from your tribe. Forgetting that when we get to the market, they will not tell you that, because you are an APC, you buy it for 10 naira. But if you are PDP, you buy it for 15 naira. All of us are going to the market to go and buy it at that high price. The economy is dealing with everybody. But because the politicians know that no matter how mad they move, how bad they handle the economy, they will still go back buy bag of rice for them, and they'll vote them back. They don't even try to do better. They don't. Because somehow they know how they're going to come back. But then again, I will blame it more on our electoral system, because sometimes I don't want to believe that we'll go through a very terrible time and still voting the particular government that is making everybody see shaky. I just feel that there is something so porous about our electoral system that gives room for rigging. So if some people vote, there are a way that other people can rig it, and then it will favor the ruling party because they are in control. That is the only explanation I can actually pick as a picture in my head, because I can't understand why the government that is showing you shaky, we will still go back to the polls and vote them in. Ghana will not do that. You do anyhow, you see anyhow. They send you back to Takrady, or they send you back to Kaswa, or they send you back to Adabrak. Wherever you're coming from, they send you back there. Anywhere you're coming from, they send you back, and then let another person enter. Even their own is that they're not saying the person who is entering is the Messiah. They're saying, okay, this one, we have given this one opportunity. He or she didn't do well, bounce, and we're giving you an opportunity. We're not saying you're the Messiah, but if you don't do well, you will bounce again. As in, they keep just trying. And that is the beauty of democracy. But we in Nigeria, we don't enjoy that. We need to fix our mindset. We need to fix our electoral system. We need to, because you will see how angry we all are during the election. We are very angry. See this. And then we go in and the same result comes out. And you're thinking, were these people really angry? Or our vote is not counted because of the flawed electoral system? If there's anything we should learn from Ghana, the culture of changing government every 4 or 8 years is very important, so that nobody will sit still and feel like they have arrived, so that they will be on their toes, because they know that if they don't do well, we will bounce them. That is one. Another one is defection. I don't know whether the political parties, politicians in Ghana defect the way Nigerian politicians defect. You see somebody is in PDP in the morning, in the evening the person is in APC. Like, does that, Ghanaians, tell me, can somebody be an MPP? Like, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but what is the percentage? Because Nigeria, I'm telling you, somebody can be in PDP in the morning, and in the evening the person is in APC, and the following day that same person is in PDP. That, as in, they move mad like that. As in, a lot of them are anywhere but face. This government does not, okay, which government is in power? Before you know, they're already in bed with that government. And you're wondering, but this man was in PDP, and then he's in APC now. And then if somehow PDP finds their way back to power, the man tomorrow you see is in APC. That is how they move. Because you see, some people, there are some politicians in Nigeria, their occupation is politics. So if they are not in power, they will not eat. So any party in power, they find their way in so that the money will keep coming. Because that's how a lot of them loot. I don't hear so much about defection in Ghana. Correct me if I'm wrong, because I try to do my research. I see more of people who, if they are leaving the party, they opt to be like an independent candidate than, than defect to another, an opposition party. They prefer to run as an independent candidate, and which is a very good thing because of an ideology. Because of an ideology. If your is just stomach infrastructure where you want to eat, that is how hunger will be moving you from one party to, and you just become like a fool. But you see, Nigerian politicians don't have shame. Shame is the last thing in their eye. If it's this party that is ruling today, the man will join APC. If tomorrow PDP enters, there we go. And tell me how we can have a credible opposition when loyalty, they can't even be loyal to their parties, to fight, wrestle power, to say, okay, these ones are not doing well, let them capitalize on the weakness of this party and fight opposition, so that the ruling party can be on their toes to ensure that they deliver dividend of democracy to the people. But in Nigeria, now another one that I like that Nigerian government should incorporate is that as a journalist, on election day, I hardly vote. Why? Because we are all out there. You see people of essential duties. It's like you see nurses, like people in the medical line. You see the military. You see journalists. You see like civil society groups. All these people they call essential duties. These are people that unconsciously are disenfranchised from voting because of election day duties. They really want to vote, but they can't vote because of election day duties. But I think what Ghana did is that prior to the main election, they had a day for these people to go and vote. So the military personnel, as journalists, everybody, people of essential duties, you go vote that day. And then, so that on the day of the elections, you can go about your duties, knowing that you have casted your vote. Absolutely amazing. You know, in America, election starts from, like some, let me say, months ahead, because you can mail in your vote, you can vote in person, there are different ways you can vote in America. So you don't have any reason not to vote. You can't be disenfranchised in any way unless you don't want to vote. But you see, in Nigeria, if for any reason, apart from essential duties, maybe you're not feeling well, or for some reason you cannot leave your house, you cannot vote. Do you know the bulk, all those essential duties, do you know the bulk of them in Nigeria? You know how many people you unconsciously disenfranchised because of the way the electoral system is, or the electoral process is. We can do better. We can do better. Everybody wants to vote. I only have one vote, but I changed that vote because I know that thing that will make the high and mighty in Abuja to come to your local government to come and beg you, you should know that your one vote is very important. It's only one you have. But let's say my one vote, I keep it. My father's one vote, he keeps it. My mother has one vote, she keeps it. Everybody keeps their one vote. You don't know that in a household where, let's say, there are 10 people, and for instance, that 10 people wanted to vote one family. If for any reason they couldn't go, don't know that political party has just lost 10 votes. You will say, only one person, only one person. But one go reach 100. Ghana, they've really done well in showing a good example of how election can go. They just made another election look like a war zone. Like war. You will hear killings here and there. There's ballot box snatching, people tearing ballot papers, people harassing people, the military and the policemen and civilians fighting, going at each other. You see gun check, like election, like election. In some countries, election will be going on. They can't even tell you that they are voting today for. You will not even really, because Nigerians, we can't relate. Yes, we can't relate. What we know is that we are hearing in some places where, like, we are hearing people that will come and harass you, come and scatter ballot, come and just come and, if they know that a particular area is somebody's stronghold, they will go down and cause commotion, so that, because sometimes when there is there's some sort of chaos in a particular polling unit, that polling unit, every vote there is cancelled. So if they know that they're not going to get a particular, they know that, okay, this stronghold, for instance, APC say, okay, this stronghold is for PDP, or PDP say, oh, this stronghold is for APC. They can arrange thugs to go there and scatter somebody's stronghold, because even if it's only one vote, they are ready to lose that one vote that will come out from that unit than the 100 that the political party that has that place as a stronghold we get. They don't mind. They'll go there, they will scatter it. Yes, Ghana just made Nigerian election look like a war zone. I'm Nigerian. I'm very proud of my country. I love my country so much. But the truth is, if there is where we are lagging behind, we need to say it. And there is no way we can sugarcoat our electoral process. We can't. There are a lot of things we are miles and miles and miles ahead of Ghana. But that is not the conversation for that. So there is a lot that we're miles and miles ahead of them. That is not questionable. But you see, election, we need help. We need help. Whether the country is too big, but the truth is that you cannot be doing the same thing over and be expecting different results. They made us believe that beavers, we call all those things, but beavers is just like the way we have been voting before. It didn't help anything. So we need to go on the study so that Ghana can proudly say, yes, this Nigeria came to learn this, so that we will know that we came to learn, because all those other ones that we came to learn from their country, other than Fabu. So that we really know that we came to learn this one from them. And no shame about it. Because this one is really about our future. I'm just telling you that as bad as this government is, as the economy is, this government can run again and they will win. It's not that they will win, they may even win. So finally, what I'm going to talk about is the way Ghanaians voted. You see, one thing was one thing united them, the bad economy. They all agreed that the economy is bad. And that's why they could all come together. Go to Nigeria, ask some people now. Just ask them. So they'll tell you, this government will favor me and my family. Meanwhile, all of them are in your DM begging. You will ask the same person who cannot even feed. And will tell you, they will give you reason why there is something going, why the government of the day cannot solve the economic issue. Like making excuses for people who are obviously enjoying champagne and traveling and getting their money paid in dollars, the government. Why you, even Naira, you cannot see. But you see, Ghanaians were unanimous in coming together to know that the economy is the problem. They have dumso, or dumso, what they call it. They have light issue. They don't let anybody lie to you. They have NEPA issue, their own NEPA issue. They call it dumso. They have one thing they call galamsey, that's like illegal mining in their country. Their government have borrowed and borrowed and borrowed and borrowed and borrowed, and it's like some of them, I'm sure they wake up one day and discover that China have taken them. They don't even, per second they are going to IMF to borrow. You see how high our dollar is going against, our Naira is going against the dollar. They are only still going against it too. Their own money are going their own against their dollar. They are also having their issues. So they saw all these things and said, and you still want us to reward this party with another year or another 4 years? Impossible now. Like, it's not possible. But if you see Nigeria, we will go and vote them. Why? Because now my tribesman. We're not ready. Like, we are not ready. We are not ready. I tell you, if we're ready, we have no business having the party, because of how bad the party that ruled the last 4 years before this new government in Nigeria. The present government, if we want to go by how the economy was before it now even became worse this time, they even have no business entry. But what do you expect? After how bad it was in the last administration, you gave them another 4 years. Does that look like anything is like you're suffering? If after what you went through the last 8 years in this same party, you now came again and rewarded them with another 4 years, you think they'll take you serious? They will not. They'll feel like, anyhow, we will go back, we won't go back to our constitution. But Ghana has shown that it's no longer business as usual. You do anyhow, you will see anyhow. Like you do anyhow, you see anyhow. There is no time for Chere Kambia. You will go back home. So, a lot to learn from Ghana's election. No shame in that. A lot to learn. Nigeria, we should learn. You see, there are other countries who have changed from ruling party to opposition. I think recently, apart from Ghana, that opposition is taking over now, I think Senegal, opposition took over. Liberia, opposition took over. It's only in 2015 once that opposition took over in Nigeria. And then, I don't know whether we're going to see that again, because the way the present political party is running, it's like at the end of the day, everybody in Nigeria will soon turn to because the opposition party doesn't seem like they are even fighting it. See how bad the economy is. They're not even talking. Nobody is even speaking. It's even the citizens that are taking laws into their own hands to even talk about, hey. It's the citizens that are talking. The opposition party, now in another 4 years, they will come out and say this. But now that they're supposed to be talking and, putting pressure, nobody's talking. We're all just there, just looking. Like, we need to do something about it. Our electoral, an overhaul of our electoral system. Nigeria to pick a specific date for election, irrespective of what day the day falls on. We should be united on the same front to, if it's economy, which at the moment is our biggest problem, we should be united in the next election. Because this government has been saying, give us 2 years into this government, May next year to be 2 years. And we're not seeing anything yet. 2 years is enough for us to see like a ray of hope. They keep saying that the reforms they are putting in place, After the 2 years, the next 1 year is to be getting ready for another election. So when do we want to go and see? When do we want to start seeing dividend of democracy? At this time, we're supposed to see results. Like APC was supposed to be seeing results. It's that simple. Thank you for listening. Please subscribe, share, comment. I see you again in my next video. Bye.